Donald Trump just ran away from the press because, in so many ways and for so many reasons, he simply does not have the answers. Tonight, it was questions about Venezuela, about the legality, or more accurately, the illegality of his actions and what comes next. But Donald Trump has been without answers for a long time now. He has no answers to how he plans to keep his coalition in Congress together as more Republicans threaten resignations. He has no answers to how he plans to move forward as his own supporters begin turning against him, a situation that has only worsened by the fact that the so-called no new wars president now appears to be starting them everywhere. That is why Donald Trump is clearly struggling tonight. From what was a disastrous landing of Air Force One to the press conference he held afterward to the way he looked once it was over, none of it reflected confidence or control. It was not good. We're going to get into all of it, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way in supporting our work. Now let's get into the moment when Donald Trump arrived, where the press conference began, and the point where he was pressed on his supporters turning on him.
What's your response to supporters who voted for you? They'd be glad and relieved to see that you're in custody.
The voters that voted for me, let me just tell you, the voters that voted for me are thrilled. They said, this is what we voted for. So
Donald Trump believes something that I believe, something that you believe, and honestly, something that anyone paying even minimal attention to American politics believes, that Trump supporters are stupid. He believes Republicans are fundamentally dumb if they continue to buy into the lies this charlatan feeds them. Donald Trump is a con man. That's who he is. That's how he's succeeded, not because he's intelligent, but because he knows how to identify gullible people and rip them off. That is what his political career has always been about. It's about grifting massive donations. Midas Touch has done a great job exposing this, showing how Donald Trump is essentially stealing people's money through endless fundraising emails. And of course, he has already pulled in billions of dollars for legal funds, failed business ventures, and that's not even getting into the grift that continues while he's in office. Donald Trump genuinely believes his supporters are stupid. Let's talk specifically about Venezuela. He thinks they're going to buy the argument that this is all about drugs and keeping Americans safe, even as he pardons an actual drug lord and then turns around and lectures the country about security. The idea that starting conflicts somehow keeps us safe is absurd. It simply does not. If Donald Trump actually cared about keeping people safe, he wouldn't have Pete Hegseth mishandling sensitive information. And by the way, the same guy who congratulated himself because none of this was leaked. The strike wasn't leaked. The attempted kidnapping of Maduro wasn't leaked. Well, it actually was leaked to the Washington Post and the New York Times, who chose not to publish details because they didn't want people to get killed. So great job there, Pete Hegseth. And this wasn't even the only foreign policy issue Trump was asked about, where he completely embarrassed himself. Not only did he make a fool of himself, he also said something we've known for a long time. Just take a look at this clip.
You had
actually been asked to do it.
Do you think you and Putin and on the phone, of course, with Zelensky at Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah.
You told me that
numerous times.
You told me that your New Year's resolution was peace on earth. Do you think that 2026, if you could set a deadline of when the Russia-Ukraine war...
I don't do deadlines, but I would say that, like as an example, Thailand and Cambodia.
Well,
I was very proud of that. Wait a minute. And they started up again and they got inside.
Where does that
I give myself 1/4 of a point for that. So now I'm 8 1/4 points because they started up Thailand and Cambodia, and now it's okay.
So where does it actually stand between Russia and Ukraine
we'll have a deal
right now?
at some point, hopefully in the not too distant. So I don't know if you saw the numbers just came out. 30,000 soldiers were killed this current month.
And there was that intelligence.
30,000. 27,000 the month before.
oh, Donald Trump doesn't do deadlines. Wow, what a surprise. Truly shocking. I didn't expect that level of honesty from him until at least another couple of weeks from now. I figured the answer would be 2 weeks away, as usual. But here we are. And don't you notice how Donald Trump talks about foreign policy? If you can even call it that? Because it perfectly sums up what we've seen from this administration. Look at the way he talks about negotiating with Putin or Russia versus the way he talks about tariffs in general. Of course, when it comes to China, Trump knows he's constantly being humiliated, yet he always claims that with tariffs, America has been ripped off for so long and that it's been such a terrible deal. But then, when he talks about our allies facing massive loss of life because of Putin's invasion of Ukraine, suddenly it's, well, there's nothing we can do. Nothing at all. He just gives up every inch of ground. He completely caves. And yet, at the same time, he still wants to posture as a strong man on the world stage. Apparently now, it seems like that's supposed to be happening in Cuba.
The go-to, and you were just talking about Cuba and what could come next there. Are you considering U.S. action in Cuba?
We're not. I think it's just going to fall. I don't think we need any action. It looks like it's going down. It's going down for the count. You ever watch a fight?
Yeah.
They go down for the count. And Cuba looks like it's going down. What do you think, Howard?
It's going down. They've lived off of Venezuela, right? The economics were all Venezuelan, right? That's why you said the protective force of Maduro was Cuban, right? They were Cuban guards. So they were just paying Cuba when that money stopped.
Don't hire them in the future.
Yeah, they weren't very good.
People from our country who were forced to come over, they really didn't want, they were from Cuba. People from different countries like to stay in those countries, whatever, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And people want to go back to Cuba, and they want to work in Cuba, but Cuba's going down for the count. Thank you very much, everybody.
So Donald Trump is watching the economy fall apart while the resources that ordinary working people actually need to improve their material conditions are being stripped away. Instead of using the power of government to help regular Americans, Donald Trump is redirecting those resources to the wealthiest, smallest group of people in the country. And now he's saying, why not also spend public money on more wars, on asserting control over places like Cuba and Venezuela? There is no justification for this. There is no real justification at all, except that Donald Trump wants to prop up his approval ratings and give himself an excuse to posture as some kind of God king. He wants to funnel even more money to oil executives and corporate elites. But when Donald Trump was actually pressed to explain why he's doing any of this, when he was asked to give even one real reason that he could sell to his own supporters, this is all he had to say.
If you had to sum up Operation Absolute Resolve, would you say that it was about oil or it was about regime change?
It's about peace on earth.
How is it peace on earth?
Peace on earth. We got to have peace. It's our hemisphere. The Monroe Doctrine was very important when it was done, and other presidents, a lot of them, they lost sight of it. I didn't. I didn't lose sight. But it really is. It's peace on earth. Thank you very much.
Peace on earth. That's Donald Trump's justification now, because every other excuse has fallen apart. He can't say, this is about drugs when he just pardoned an actual drug trafficker. That hypocrisy kills the argument instantly. He can't talk about oil either. He promised to unleash American energy on day one and lower prices, but everything is more expensive. He's canceling major clean energy projects while ranting about liquid gold, and none of it has helped people afford rent or groceries. Even if gas dropped a little, it wouldn't matter when food prices are exploding. So what's the real argument? There isn't one. This administration wants people to believe Trump is keeping America safe, but there's no substance behind it. That's why Democrats shouldn't just say, this is illegal, and stop there. If it's illegal, say what comes next. Lawsuits, accountability, prosecution. Don't just point it out. Act on it. Trump believes his supporters are stupid and that he can sell them anything. But this time is different. MAGA is splitting in ways we haven't seen before, and it's because there's money and attention in attacking Trump now. Figures like Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens, and others on the right have realized Trump is weaker than ever, and criticizing him is profitable. The no new wars promise is gone. America first is gone. Even the hardline immigration stance is collapsing as Venezuelan refugees are now being allowed in. If you're a MAGA voter, there's nothing left of what you were promised. This makes Trump extremely vulnerable, and it's going to be very hard for him to recover. We're going to keep covering this every single day. If you want to support that, hit subscribe, leave a like, and if you made it to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments, and until next time, I will see you soon.